So anyway, y'all, this is going to be a complete rant, but it's actually, these are my therapy sessions. This is where I go to vent whatever's going on with me. And I find myself in this kind of valley again in my mental state. This comes and it goes with me. I have days where I'm not really thinking about too much. I'm not really worrying about anything. The days are just kind of going by, it's kind of happening and I'm doing what I'm doing and it's going smooth and not too much is going on. And then out of nowhere, all this stuff comes. And if you're a person, if you're a human being like me, you know what I mean. This isn't anything new to any of us. These things tend to build up because that's what life does. Life is kind of its own pressure cooker. And if we don't release the pressure, if we don't do things to keep the pressure down, the pressure builds and the pressure arises. And this is what I was saying I don't know if my video uploaded. It got stuck on processing. I don't know if it uploaded. It was called Autism, the Shaolin Way, and something else. I have no idea if it uploaded, but I talked about a lot of this in that video. But the reason I'm getting on here is because I know for me, when I'm having days where I'm feeling miserable, I don't want to do anything, there's kind of this mental storm going on in my mind. It's almost like when Jim Carrey says depressed, it means deep rest. And all that it is my body and my mind is saying, I don't want to play this character anymore. Because really we're all just characters in this life. We're all playing a character. We all put on a role for other people. We all kind of wear the mask and the facade, and we all do it. We all do it. It's just some people, their masks are way thicker than other people. Some people's facades are way heavier and deeply rooted. I tend to show everybody what it really is. I tend to say what I really need to say because it's something that's actually going on. I actually see myself as well as other people doing these things in this life. And I get on here and I talk about it. It's like there's two things when you are in this position where you are going through kind of this, I would call it bipolar, and maybe I am bipolar. Maybe I do have that mental thing going on with me because I have had this happening my whole life where I'm up and then I'm down. And then I seem like I'm stable and I'm together and everything's going well. And then for some reason, it fades away. And then it comes back again. Oh, it's back. I'm back. And then it's like, okay, see you later. I gotta go now. And it kind of it dissipates. It's like the raindrops. They come and they go. Life is but a raindrop, but a mist, but a vapor. We're here for some time and then we're gone, and that this pertains to everything in life. And I can't wear the mask for people. I can't put on the facade for people. This channel is me getting as brutally honest as I can possibly get with people. And when I was talking about how people live not cleaning up after themselves, not being responsible for their own actions, not taking accountability for the things they're doing, and all of these things. Look, that is just the way that it is. You know, people that are like that, they need to be called out. They need to have somebody, because just like a child needs corrected from things they do, you know, that's how it is. People need corrected. But see, we don't want to swallow our pride today to be corrected. And then I ask myself, you know, where are the mothers and fathers? Where were the mothers and fathers to teach the child to be responsible in all these things? You know, I ask myself these questions, and, you know, I shouldn't have to be doing this on here, but the world that we live in, that's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. Anything I say on this channel, I do not do it with malicious intent. I do not do it for any reason other than I want to master my own life. I want to be responsible for my own life. I want to take care of myself while I'm here. And when you see other people not doing that, that reflects back onto you, and you say, okay, well, what are we doing here? You know, if I'm doing this and you're doing that, then there's not going to be a mutual understanding here, and there's going to be conflict. And see, we don't have to have that happen. We don't need that conflict. See, our whole lives should be about studying and learning. Every single one of us should be studying for ourselves, and we should be learning for ourselves. And anyway, I'm not going to start getting into telling people what they should or they shouldn't do, because I'm actually sick and tired of that myself. But I'm just reminding myself of this. But anyway, getting back to when you're somebody that you might be miserable, you might not want to do anything, you have a cloudy head, you just don't really want to do anything. You know, you're down and out for some reason, whatever it is that's going on in your life. There are one of two things that you can do. There's literally one of two things that you can do. You can just move. Just move. It's all that you can do is move. Start moving. Take a walk. Go do dishes. Brush your teeth. Comb your hair. Clean up your room. Sweep the floor. Mop the floor. Do whatever you can do to get some exercise and distract your brain. Or the other thing is doing what I'm doing. Talk about it. That's all that you can do sometimes. And it's like it is a last resort. You know, like Papa Roach, this is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing, don't give up. If I cut my arm bleeding. I understand how people might feel out there. I understand that feeling. I know all about that feeling more than anybody in this world. I know all about what it is to want to give up on everything, to say, what is this all for? Why am I here? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick and tired of this. When you have that happening over and over and over and over and over again in your life, and it takes on a repeat. You go through the same things all the time. You see the same things. You see people doing the same things. You see people acting irresponsibly. You see younger people doing whatever they're doing. And look, whatever younger people do is what they do. It's not me ragging on people. It's just saying, once you're someone like me and you have seen these things over and over and you have experienced it so many times, it's kind of like there's nothing else to do but find a craft. There's nothing else to do but art. There's nothing else to do but master yourself, is to look at yourself like the Shaolin way, is to practice mindfulness, is to build your own refuge, is to have something that you do that is distracting you, but it's also for the sake of your living situation. And this is why I like homestead living and refuge living so much. And just because I don't have a ranch behind me, and I don't have cows and horses behind me in the background, and you don't see chopping wood over here, or you don't see me sitting in a chair with some fancy clothes, and that doesn't mean, see, the generation that we're in, I think we look at the outside stuff too much. We go by, oh, he's not an old timer. If I was some guy with a gray beard and I had cows behind me and chopping wood and whatever, people would listen to me more. I would have more subscribers. I would have more viewers. I would be a bigger channel probably. But people see me and they see that I'm a guy and I'm in an apartment room, a one-room apartment, and they see that I don't really have too much resources. I don't have that many resources. So therefore, some people may go, well, why would I listen to what this guy has to say? You see, what importance is he serving? What value is he giving me? You see, if there's any such thing as value, I see value as being honest with the people. I see value as being honest with yourself through and through. I see value as calling things out how things are when they are the way that they are. That's what I see as valuable. Now, do you see things like that as being valuable? That's the question. Do you out there see it like that? And see, I can't when it's to that point, it's out of my hands. I have no control over that. I'm simply a guy being honest. And I think that alone has value to it, because there are a lot of people out here that might not want to get honest with people. They want to wear the mask and facade. They want to keep playing the game. You see, they want to keep playing this game with other people and themselves. I don't have time for the games anymore at all. At all. See, and then when people hear that, they say, oh, well, you're too serious. You're too serious of a guy. No, it's just I'm willing to take accountability and responsibility for my own actions. You see, I'm willing to take an honest look at myself and call myself out. And I'm willing to say, look, today I'm not feeling that great. I woke up, my back was hurting. I was in a horrible mood, a shitty mood. And I took some of my medication and that helped. I won't lie. I'm on a medication that I take. And how I would be if I didn't take that medication, I would be different. There's the me on medication and there's the me not on the medication that I'm on. And I won't lie to people. That's what it is. I'm just like any of you out there. I'm doing whatever I got to do to cope. And if we're being honest with ourselves, there's something in Mendham said, and there's a lot of people that are not going to be able to probably swallow this man's message and what he's saying, but it's just the cold, harsh, brutal truth of reality. He said that we're all addicts here. We need all the time. We are literally addicted addicts with what he said, a fuck-nutted psychology. And I mean, it's let's just be honest with ourselves here. We need things all the time. All that we do is we consume and we reproduce. We consume and we reproduce. And all that I'm doing, all that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put it out to the world for us to cause as less suffering as possible for ourselves, each other, and other people. You see? And if we can't listen to that, if we can't get real with ourselves and we can't talk with each other about this, then that means we're lying to each other. We're playing the game with each other. We're putting on the mask for each other. We're constantly on this thing where we're kind of lying to ourselves when we're here. And I understand in order for us to cope with some things, it almost seems like we're lying to ourselves. But why can't we be honest? Why can't we be honest and say it how it really is? Because we're going to be in fear that someone's not going to agree with what we're saying, or they're going to get offended by what we're saying, or they're going to take it in a manner where they misinterpreted what someone like me might have said. Like I said, I have no malicious intent behind what I do. Whenever I'm saying something and I'm speaking about other people or I'm calling something out, it's just because I'm willing to expose my own shit too. I'm willing to say how I feel and the things going on in my life. And if I can't find other people like that, if I can't reach out and somebody's giving me the same in return, then I have no reason to even associate with those kinds of people. This is why I ask everybody out there that's watching this video, why do you associate with the people you associate with? Why do you hang with them? Why do you do what you do with them? There's going to be a day where you're going to have to face this regardless. I'm not going to have to face it for you. It will happen one day. You see what I'm saying? I've already thought of decades ahead in this life. I already know that I'm going to live and I'm going to die. I already know that I'm a middle-aged man now, but I know one day this face you see, whether you think it's cute or whether you think I'm a handsome guy or I'm ugly or, whatever people think, one day this face is going to get wrinkly and it's going to get old if I live to be older. One day you're going to see me slouched over. I mean, it's going to happen. And all that I'm doing here is coping. It's a coping thing. It's a therapy thing. Life is literally a therapy session. This channel is literally a preparation for death. It's literally a coping skill. It's literally a place where people can come to hear the brutal, honest reality of what it is. And that's why I already know, and it's fine. I already know that there's not going to be too many people that stick around to listen to my therapy sessions. They might think my platform is a dead platform, and I understand. I completely understand. I can't call it a dead platform. It's an honest platform. See, when you get honest with stuff, a lot of people will say it's a dead platform. Don't go there to listen to that guy. He's doing whatever he's doing. See, these are people that are running from everything. They're running from themselves. They're running from confrontation. They're running from everything that if they would just face it and they would take it head on and they would look into it, their lives, the paradigm of their lives would change because they would have a different way to cope with their lives, you see? But the way that a lot of us go about coping with it, the way that a lot of the world copes with things, it's not healthy. And we prove it time and time again. Look what people do to go and whatever. There's some people that, because they're going through something or feeling some way, they go out and start killing other people or shooting other people or harming other people. There is another way. That is not the way to do things. Is going to somebody you don't even know and harming them because something is going on in our lives. There's another way to do things besides that way. There's another way for us to do things besides just blaming the world for every single problem. I understand we all blame each other. We all point the finger. We all have pet peeves. We all do these things that we do. We all get in our little ruts. We all have bad days. We are the people here on this earth. And there is nothing we can do about that. There is absolutely nothing that you and I can do to change the fact that we are going to be here with one another. We're going to have to live around one another. And when we're not keeping each other in check and we're letting our pressure cookers build and build and build and build, that's because we're not doing something to deal with it. We're not doing something to cope with it. There are other ways to cope. If you feel like your life is a pressure cooker, if you feel like you're at the end of the road and there's nowhere to turn, there's nowhere to go, turn on a recorder and start talking and put it out there and tell people, look, I can't go through this no more. I'm tired of this. I'm just reaching out to other like-minded individuals. You got to get honest with yourself. You can't hide the bad thing. We can't hide the thing that's bothering us. We can't hide behind jargon. We can't hide behind our feelings and hide behind things that we're not willing to deal with, because all that's doing is it's turning us into our own atom bombs about to explode. And I know all about this because there's a situation that just happened here where I live where it finally came to a head, where the cleaning lady finally came here and did something about the bathroom situation. And I let it happen how it happened. I didn't do anything or say anything because I'm telling you, karma is for real. It always gets found out. When you let something go for too long, something's going to eventually happen. If you sit in some situation and you think that something's going to happen, nothing's going to happen. It's just the law of physics. It's just the way that it is. But yeah, I don't want to get into that because it's over. It's over with. I don't want to think about it anymore. I was very angry. I was very pissed off. And that was the truth of what was really happening. Like, if somebody listens to something I'm saying and they're having their own experience with it, that's not my experience. Just because I'm saying something that happened with me and somebody's relating that to their story or relating that to what they're thinking, that doesn't mean that I'm talking about that person. Do you understand? This is something that we should be able to discern. Just because I'm on here, that this is just something that this meat bag, this vessel, this guy, this tongue, teeth, eyes, head, mouth, and this voice box that's speaking, I just need to come on here and do this. That's all it is. it's simply a cope. It's simply something to listen to and move on from. And then things will come again, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and that's the way that life is. But see, the thing that still the thing that I keep getting kind of upset with, the thing that agitates me is there are things that a lot of people will not tell you. The things that they won't tell you. You see, it's just like someone like a Buddha or a Shaolin monk or something like that. I'm not getting on them. I'm not ragging on them. That's not what I'm doing here when I'm explaining this. But see, they won't. Why do you think that they got away from society and they got away from most of how the world does things, and they went off in their own land and started doing their own thing, and they're still doing it till this day? Because they had to get away from what the rest of the world was doing. They had to get away from the way that people go about living their lives, the way that they carry themselves. They had to get away from all that. But see, they might not tell the people that because they know that they're talking to people. They're talking to the people. And see, there's these little things. There's these little things that people will not tell you, because if they tell you out there, then they realize that people are going to have to take accountability. People are going to have to be confronted. People are going to have to say, okay, that's me that they're talking about. And nobody, see, it's like the person that doesn't want to learn, the person that doesn't want to understand themselves, the person that just wants to stay in their own muck and mire day after day after day after day. What can you do for them people? And there's people where, if just say metaphorically, you're stuck in the muck and mire and you have an opportunity to get out of that for some time. I understand how you slip back into the muck and mire. I understand it happens to every one of us. I slip back into my own muck and mire all the time, y'all. Anyone who's listening, I do it all the time. But there's some people, when they have the chance, or they can get out of that, they're so addicted to being in that place that when they have a chance to get out of it and do something different, they will literally stay there. They won't even take a step or two to get away from it. It ain't that they take a step or two and slide back into it, or take a couple steps and then slide back into it. They literally will not even take a step or do anything so that they're not stuck in that position. And we wonder why we're depressed and we're all these other things. I understand people that have mental problems, they can't help that this happens. I can't help the way that I get with certain things. I literally can't help it. It comes and it goes. And this been happening to me ever since I've been in this world. I even remember as a kid, I had no control over what my brain was doing with certain things. But if I have an opportunity, if I have the ability to get out of my own muck and mire, it's like if I take a shit in a chair on myself, am I just going to sit there in the shit? And there was someone said something metaphorically, if you sit in the shit long enough, you won't smell it anymore. And you won't even realize that you're sitting in your own shit. And I know I did it before. That's why I'm saying it, because I did it before. But if I do that, I'm not just going to sit there and remain there if I can do something about it, or if I can make some kind of difference, or I can change something while I'm alive. If I have something to cope with, I'm not just going to stay there in it like a lot of the rest of the world might do. And the people that do that, that's up to them to look into. That's up to them to move. That's up to them to clean up their stuff. That's up to them to make a change or to do whatever they have to do to cope. But some of us in the world, we're not even coping. We're not even coping in this life. We're hoping that someone comes and saves us. We're hoping that someone takes us to the doctor to get medication for our mental problems. We're hoping that all of these things are going to happen. And Jim Carrey even said this: hope is a beggar. I'm not saying in every situation. I think in certain situations, yes, you do have to have hope in certain situations. I'm not talking about with everything. You can't put the word hope with everything. It's if you broke your arm, you hope that your arm heals right. I understand that. That's completely fine. That kind of hope is fine. But when you're stuck somewhere and you're having something happen to you and you wake up miserable and you're depressed and your mind, you don't want to do anything, the only thing to do is cope and talk about things or move. That is the only thing that we can do. And this is, if we don't realize this, we're going to keep getting caught in the trap that is a lot harder to get out of. You see what I'm saying? It just makes things a little bit easier for you in that way. It makes, when you have more knowledge and understanding and you're studying and you're learning things for yourself in this life, you're going to have a better chance of dealing with it. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not preaching to people. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm not saying I have any answers. I'm not telling anybody that I can provide anything for them because I can't. All I know is this is what I need to do. And you know what? Sometimes that isn't even enough for my own brain. But I have to accept it. I got to say, look, this is what it is. It's all that I got. It's all that I got to fall back on. And this is why I tell us, learn to start appreciating the things that you have, the small things in your life. The bed you lay in, the food you eat, the water you drink, the chair that you sit in, the microphone you speak into, the coffee that you drink, the car that you drive, the little things you have. Because if we don't learn to appreciate those things, then what do we have here? There's nothing else. There's nothing else here, because if we're really being honest, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, is we are addicted to a psychology. We are addicted. We need things. We consume and we reproduce. All we're doing here is consuming, and we need things. And we're a screwed up, nutted psychology. I mean, let's just be honest. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. I can't escape it. They can't escape it. Nobody can escape it. And some people do a whole bunch of different things. Some people run from it. Some people are in denial of it. Some people cope with it. Some people hope that it's going to do something and change without them doing nothing about it. Some people block it out. Some people get violent when they think about these things. But I say, move and talk. Talk about it. Talk about these things. Learn healthy ways to cope. You know, there's already enough people in the world that are doing violent things to cope. There's already enough people in the world that are not willing to take it on the head for themselves, to see what it is that they're doing while they're here. And if nobody's hearing it, it's just going to get worse and worse. You know, I wrote something in my notebook here. I wrote something like, the easier things get, the worse people are going to get. It's just like what George Carlin said. If we have something that makes pancakes for us and scratches our balls, then we're just going to become lazier and lazier. We're not going to have anything to do. Everything is just going to be doing stuff for us. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. You know, when things get too easy, it's not a good thing either. You know, the easier things get, the worse things will get. The easier it gets for people, the worse it's going to get. And that's a whole other topic. I can't sit here and explain to you what that really, really means. And those of you who have knowledge and look into things and study for yourself, you know what that means. You know, you understand what that means. I don't have to sit here and explain it, but it's okay because some people, just like I did at one time, need to have something explained to them. It's, you know, we got to let our pride down. We got to swallow the pill that we don't want to swallow. We got to let our pride down. We have to be willing to take things on the head. We got to be willing to be responsible for our actions here. And if we're not, then all we're doing is adding on to the problem. We're just adding on to the problem here. You know, you're either productive for yourself or you're destructive to yourself and other people. That's how I see it. Now, I'm not saying the person that sits around and whatever, I'm not saying that they're going out and committing violence or they're doing things to hurt other people. You know, there's so many different aspects to this. There's so many different ways of interpreting what I'm saying here, but the principle of it is the same. The principles of what I am saying to the world is the same, and it's been the same since the beginning of mankind. You know what I'm saying? You can't change principles. You can't change the way that things really are in reality. You can't change the fact that when you're doing something a certain way for so long, there's going to be consequences and repercussions to those things. But a lot of the world is just oblivious. They don't care about none of that. It's just, oh, well, I got to get what I can get right now and feel the best I can right now. And see, that comes with its own. I don't have no problem with feeling good. I want to feel good just like anybody else. But feeling good at the expense of what? You see? And when we learn to do this, we will live and we will lead and we will live better than what we were when we didn't know things. You understand? It's like a baby. If you let a baby just do whatever a baby does, a little kid do whatever a little kid does, they'll burn the house down. They'll burn their hand on the stove. They'll paint on the walls. They'll do a whole bunch of crazy things if there's nobody there to correct them or tell them, hey, look, you shouldn't do that, because if you do that, this thing is going to happen, you know. But see, it's like nobody wants to hear that today. You know, we're in a world of just quick, give me, now. And everybody has this kind of serotonin hit that they need. And then when someone like me might be speaking, they're like, oh, well, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, but now I need to go to one of them channels where they're doing all these things. And it's like, really, what we all need to do, including myself, we need to chill. We need to chill, and I need to chill. This is something that I realized about a lot of my videos is I need to bring it down a little bit because I let myself get hype about things out of my control, and I let myself get rambunctious. I let myself get angry and upset over certain things. But yet again, like I said, I know that I'm not lying to myself. I know that I'm not playing a game. I know that I'm not hiding behind something. I'm not ashamed of anything I'm saying. You understand? I'm not ashamed of what I'm saying because what I'm saying is out in the open. I don't have anything to hide from people. So that's what's coming, is the chill mode. I said what I had to say about it, even though I'll bring it up, I will bring it up because this is where I go. This is my therapy. This is where I go to vent things. I don't want to have 2 or 3 channels. I want to put everything that I am on one channel, and I want genuine, down to earth, responsible people that want to understand themselves. They're willing to deal with the bones in their own closets. They're willing to make a change for themselves, even if they slip back in to their own muck and mire. You see, they're not willing to stay in it and keep complaining about it and blaming other people for it and criticizing people for the things they do, and they don't realize that they're hypocrites. And I realize I'm a hypocrite. I know that I do hypocritical things myself. You can't help but to be a hypocrite on this planet. You can't help it. None of us can. You just can't do it. You can't get away from hypocrisy. Everybody is going to be a hypocrite from time to time. But do we know that we're being that? Do we understand we're being that? Are we willing to call it out? Are we willing to be honest about it? And you would be surprised how much that will give you something to write about. It will give you something to put into a craft when you're being honest with yourself. It's hard to explain. I can't explain it to people. You'd have to know what I mean to know what I mean. The more honest you get, the more things you will have to put into an art or a craft or some kind of hobby. You'll have more to give when you're looking into things for yourself. You're studying. You're taking an honest look at the situation, and you're looking into everything, not just one thing, not just saying, this is just an example. If you say you helped somebody that was starving and you bought them a bite of food, yes, you did a good thing. You did a charitable thing. You did an honest thing. You helped that person. But when you go, oh, okay, now they're good. I did that one thing. Now I'm good. Oh, well, I'm good now. I can just go live my life. I did one good thing. So that's it. It's like, yes, it was that. But at the same time, if you're not willing to keep doing that time and time again, if I'm not willing to be honest time and time again, if I'm not willing to put it out there like I always do time and time again, if I'm not willing to tell it how it really is time and time again, then I'm going to be giving away the very thing that makes me an authentic person. I'm going to be giving away my own dignity, my own self-respect for myself if I do that, if I compromise. And I'm not going to compromise for anybody. Nobody. And if you can't say that for yourself, that you're not going to compromise for any stupid bullshit. You're not going to compromise for any ignorance. You're not going to compromise for these things that are going on. If you see a woman getting raped, are you just going to join in on the rape? Or are you going to do something? See, I'm not going to compromise. I don't care if there's 20 dudes doing it. You see, I'm not going to compromise. Because what if it was me? What if I was that woman that was getting raped by 20 men? And I hate to use such a harsh thing because I don't like using the word rape or hate. I don't like using these words because it's not in my vocabulary. I don't think about this kind of stuff. I dealt with those things long ago. And I'm not saying that I ever raped anybody. I'm just saying I had a lot of hate in me, a lot of hatred. And I'll tell you what, when I see the world and people doing what they do, it tends to bring that back. And I know how bad that is. And that's why I call it out. I call it out for all of us. Even if the person doesn't want to accept it for themselves, I have no control over that. I only have the ability to take in what I take in for myself, and I am not going to compromise. I am not going to compromise for views. I'm not going to compromise for subscribers. I'm not going to compromise for a like. I'm not going to compromise so that my product can sell more. I'm not going to compromise so that people like me more. We need more men and women like this that will not compromise. That's what we need here. That's what's lacking here. That's what we're really looking for here, but we just don't understand it yet because we may not be to that knowledge yet. But this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the refuge. We're looking for a way to live, a way that we want to live for ourselves, doing something that we really want to do. And when we're doing it, we're not compromising for anybody. You see what I'm saying? If you compromise, what you're doing is you're allowing all of the things that are keeping you stuck in life in that place. You're just allowing it to come in. You're opening up the floodgates for everything bad to come back into your life. You're opening up the floodgates for all of the things that you're sick and tired of, or everything. You're just opening it up. You're inviting that back into your life. And like I said, we need more men and women that will not compromise for anything, but they'll be truthful, they'll be honest, they'll say it how it is, they'll call things out, they'll speak up when the time is right. You see what I'm saying? It's not this thing to, why so serious? It's not this thing, it's not about being serious, it's about being true. It's about staying true to yourself. You see, I'm staying true to myself. I'm not lying to myself or lying to other people so that I can get ahead, or I can be on top, or I can have more, or I can have more people come here and follow me and all that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that for anybody. So I know in time, over the years, if I'm still alive, I know that the people that will stay here, those are the people that are taking responsibility for their actions, and they're not compromising, and they're being honest with things. And all the other ones that fade away and go to other channels or go to other platforms, or they just go off and do whatever they do, more than likely, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying more than likely, this is not to put, somebody said something about I'm doing this to put fear on you or something for you to like me, or I'm the right one and all. It has nothing to do with that. It's like I said, I have no malicious intent for what I do. I want to make my life the best, and I want to see the best for others. I love to see when somebody else is doing their best. Do you? Or when you look at them, you want to see them down and out, and you want to see them all messed up, and you want to see them doing bad, and you just, you love that. You get a kick off of that. See, people like that, you don't even realize how toxic that really is. It's a place of toxicity. It's the toxicity of the city, our own cities, our own temples right here. You see, and I want to live in a clean temple. I want to live in an honest temple. I want to live in a temple where I can go to somebody and I can trust them. I want to be in a temple where I can actually say what I need to say and not feel threatened from other people. I want to be in a temple where when I tell another brother or sister what I'm thinking, they're not going to get mad or angry or hate me because I corrected them or I told them something. That's my temple, you see? And it's like, if people aren't on board for that temple, then go to that other temple. Go to that temple where they don't keep up with anything. They all hate each other. They're all envious and jealous of one another. They just do all of these things that they're doing, and see how well that temple goes. See how well that temple goes. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. I did want to talk a little more, but these videos, they have trouble uploading to YouTube, so I'm going to stop there. So yeah, if you got something from this video and you want to help support my platform, all that I can ask, if you want to buy me a coffee below, there's a link down below. And if you want to give something to my PayPal for my time, my effort, my energy, I appreciate that. Yeah, don't compromise. Don't compromise for anything. And those of you who have donated to my platform in the past and up to till this day, even though it's not a lot, I appreciate that. Thank you. There are people that have given years ago, but I don't have the names of the people that donated anymore. It erases after a year or two, so I can't get the names. But I'm not really like that. I don't really like shouting out people's names. It's like, the people did it because they wanted to do it. And, it's kind of like, if you appreciated it, you appreciated it. It was that person that did that. That was their own temple that gave because they seen another temple might have needed something for their temple. You see, this is kind of like a temple, Mikasa Sukasa temple thing. How is your temple? You see, that's what we should be focusing on. What am I giving from my temple? What am I doing in my own temple? What am I studying and learning for my temple? Am I being honest in my temple? Am I keeping after my temple? Am I doing all of these things for my temple? And most of us don't realize our temples are very jacked up. And don't hate me for saying these things. It's just, this is the hand that life deals some of us, but are we willing to take an honest look at it and change it? That's the question. So, cheers. I'll talk with you in no time. All right, thanks. Later.